Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we are going to be going over a list video. Also, I'm trying out a new camera, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, today's list is going to be 10 knives that everyone should try. And these are knives that I think everyone should not necessarily own, although I do own all of these and they're not going anywhere, so that should say something. But, if you have an opportunity to handle one, either belongs to a friend or, go to a shop and get to handle one in person, these are just knives that I think you should experience. I'm not the first person to make this list. A lot of other people have made lists like this, but I'm pretty excited about this. Like all my lists, this isn't a ranked list. This isn't a top 10. These aren't in order. These are just 10 knives that I think are really, really great. So, let's go ahead and start right off with the number one knife, the Gerber Paraframe. No, I'm just kidding. Although, yeah, focus up there, camera. We'll see how this goes. No, anyways, on to the real number 10. Or number 1 or whatever. The first one. The CRKT Squid. This is a great little knife. They're inexpensive. These guys start off at like 23 bucks for the 8CR and all steel version. This one is a Blade HQ exclusive with D2 and green micarta. But this is just a really great knife. I'm someone who doesn't necessarily love small knives. I usually like knives about like this. But I got this guy, and after trying him out for a while, this knife kind of got me to appreciate small knives, either as a fifth pocket carry or otherwise. And I think this is a really, really great fifth pocket carry knife. I made another list in the past that was great fifth pocket carry knives. This guy was on there. This is a Lucas Burnley design, frame lock. This one's running on phosphor bronze washers. The originals have Teflon. But, yeah, just a pretty great little knife. I'm a big, big fan. That guy off. Next one. Go here. Yep. I'm pretty sure a lot of you knew this was gonna be. These knives were gonna make an appearance. These are the Ontario Rat models 1 and 2. I mean, geez, everything that needs to be said about these knives has already been said by other people, better than I can say right now. They're great. I'm including them both here on the list at the same spot because, I mean, honestly, whichever one you get really kind of depends on your hand size, your using preference, or just your preference of a size of knife to carry. You can get them in 2 different steels. As you can see here, I have the Model 1 in AUS 8 and the Model 2 in D2. You can get them in all kinds of different handle colors. This is my own custom work on the R2D2, so you can't get that one, unfortunately. But, yeah, they're just great. 4-position pocket clip. They're running on phosphor bronze and Teflon washer combo. Very, very snappy. I mean, that's a sound that everyone in the knife world is familiar with. Great blades that, especially on the smaller one, are very, very well ground. This is a good slicer. Ergos are really, really nice. You can choke up right here. Thumb studs are out of the path of the slicing blade. Just a simple drop point. Just great, great knives for pretty much anything and anyone. I don't think there's anyone in the world who couldn't find good use for a rat. You can hand these knives to anyone, whether they're a knife nut or just someone who needs a cutting tool, and they will enjoy it very, very much. So, those are the rats. Great, great knives. If you don't have one of those, you need to get one. Next up, the CGRB feldspar. This is my favorite budget knife ever. Well, one of them. There's a lot of knives I like, but this is one of my favorite knives ever. Not just budget, ever. These are great. You're looking at D2 with G10 that is, on most versions, there are a couple that don't have this, but it's contoured. You have thumb stud action. This is running on bearings. Very, very snappy. Great ergos. I can actually choke up on here in the big one. Some people can't. There's a smaller version available if you like smaller knives. Reversible pocket clip, you know, D2 drop point blade that's ground pretty well. I mean, what's not to love? And the reason I think everyone should at least try one of these out is, well, they're pretty expensive, about 35, 37 bucks for most of them. Some of them go higher for different materials. But that action and the fact that it's on thumb studs with bearings, this was my first knife that had that combo, the thumb stud and bearing team up. And I really, really like it. I think if you're, you know, curious about a thumb stud deploying knife that doesn't run on washers, this is a good way to go. Gives you that very smooth, snappy action. A thumb stud on bearings is a lot different than a flipper knife on bearings, and I think a lot of people will tell you the same thing. But this is just a great knife, great user knife. It looks very classy, feels way more expensive than it is. Great fit and finish, and yeah, it's just a knife I think everyone could have. And like I said, there's a lot of different versions. You can get these in 2 different sizes, and then there's a bunch of different handle materials and different blade steels too. They have come out with an AR PM9 version, which I want to get my hands on. But yeah, this is a CGRB feldspar. Great, great knife. One of my all-time favorites. Oh, where should we go next? I think I want to save that one for a little bit. We'll go to this guy. This is the Savivi Praxis. This is a great knife too. This is a knife I think everyone should have as well. It's a big knife. There's no getting around that. It's a big knife. But man, is it so good. These come in at like 42 bucks. And that's insane for what you're getting. You're looking at 9 CR18 MOV blade steel, G10 handles, it's a steel liner lock, reversible clip, and a great, great action on ball bearings. This is a fantastic knife. Ergos, very, very comfortable knife in a multitude of grips. You can even grab it back here for some chopping if you really, really wanted to. But the reason I think this knife is on the list is, 1, the price, and 2, you really do feel like you're getting a lot for your 42 bucks. I mean, this is a larger knife, and it has a lot of nice elements to it, which I really, really appreciate. And especially if you're someone who's just getting into the knife hobby, and you're kind of wondering, you know, well, what do I like in a knife? If I'm going to start collecting knives, you know, what do I like? Do I like big knives? Or I like small knives? What are bearings all about? Do I like an action on bearings? You know, what if you're getting interested in blade grinds? I think this is a knife where you can buy this knife and have all your different questions answered. You know, buy the Praxis and you'll either be like, ooh, I really, really like big knives, or you might say you don't like big knives. Buy the Praxis and I'm pretty sure you'll say, yeah, I like that ball bearing action. It has this Savivi grind that's super thin, and you notice it when you're cutting. So just a great all-around knife, and you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. Perfect fit and finish, looks good, and it's pretty cheap, but it'll work for you for a long, long time. So that's the Savivi Praxis. And I guess I won't drag it out anymore. Everyone already knows this knife is going to be on the list. It's a Savivi Elementum. I didn't necessarily want to put multiple knives from a single brand on this list, but it does happen one more time. This is a great knife. This is pretty much the perfect EDC knife for everyone. Everyone. And even, I did a battle, I did an edge-to-edge between this guy and this guy, and even though I prefer this knife better, and I gave the win to the feldspar, I will admit all day, every day, that this knife here is the perfect EDC knife for just about everyone. Number one, just the profile. You know, this blade is just a hair under 3 inches, very comfortable, very non-threatening, you know, look. It's small, easy to carry, lightweight. Ergos are very good. The action's amazing. Flipper tab. Everyone knows how to use a flipper tab. You just, whoops, unless you're an idiot like me, but you just pull back and it fires. You can get these in all kinds of different colors. Get them in, well, about every different color of G10 you can think of. In fact, you can get these in every single color of G10 under the sun, because there's a lot of places where you can get jade G10 that you can dye any color. You can get in several different kinds of wood, like this guy, carbon fiber, both shred and marble, micarta scales, blades. This one is D2. You can get it D2 coated, satin finish D2. You can get Damascus. You can get S35VN for just a little bit more. Which, speaking of that, the price, these guys start off at about $52, which is really, really good for what you're getting. This version here with the blackened D2 blade and the wood handles, this one cost about $63. The S35VN versions cost about $70. But yeah, that's awesome. Although, speaking of S35VN, you can get to see the feldspar with S35VN too from Blade HQ. So that's, yeah. At least you can right now. I'm not sure if they'll be sold out by the time this video goes live. But yeah, this is just a great knife. And really, everyone can use this knife. I don't care who you are. This is kind of like the rats. Hand an elementum to anyone, and I think they'll enjoy it, and they'll like it, and it will work for them no matter what they're doing. I mean, of course, if they're, kind of a hard use type of person, which I do fall in that category sometimes, that this might not be a hard use knife, but a knife collector will enjoy this knife very much. So yeah, that is the Savivi Elementum. Another knife that really, I don't have much more to say about. Everything's already been said. Let's go ahead and get out the next brand that ended up on this list twice. Benchmade, the Bug Out. And now here with the Bug Out, I would also say you can also, I just said also a lot. Wow. You could put the Griptilian in this place. I don't have a Griptilian with me right now, but Bug Out and Griptilian I consider to be kind of on the same level. This is the first high-end knife that I bought when I was getting into real knives. And I carried it a lot. I don't carry this knife so much anymore. I'm not a big fan of the scales, but I do think that everyone getting into knives should at least experience this guy, because the Bug Out, like it or hate it, it has had a pretty big impact on the EDC community. Super lightweight. I mean, there's really nothing in this guy at all. And look at that shape. That's a great shape. This is also a great knife to customize. There's a lot of aftermarket scales that you can put on these, and I just love the shape of this knife. Just a beautiful drop point, very simple handle. I might actually be getting they came out with a new one. I think it's S90V blade with like carbon fiber. There's like a little back spacer. There's also another one they're coming out with aluminum. These are in the Benchmade custom shop. So yeah, action is great. You have the axis lock. Just drops. So there's a lot to enjoy here. A lot. And like I said, the Griptilian could be here. There's a lot of different versions of the Griptilian. It's a classic. The Bug Out, there's also a mini Bug Out, but the Bug Out goes for, I believe these are like $130, $140. The mini one's about $120. Overpriced, maybe a little bit, but welcome to Benchmade. So, anyways, that is the Bug Out. And while we're here, we'll get the other one out of the way. The 940. So the Bug Out was the first knife I bought that was a high-end knife that got me into buying high-end knives. This was the first knife that made me want to get into high-end knives. I remember seeing this guy on all kinds of different YouTube channels, especially Wrangler Star. I used to watch him. I don't really watch him so much anymore. He's a little bit... Anyways. But, man, I just want to get my hands on a 940 so bad. And I'm glad I did. This is a great knife. I don't think it's, necessarily the best pocket knife in the world, but it's a good knife. It's a really good knife. I actually got this guy at a yard sale. But, man, just fantastic knife. Looking at S30V blade, aluminum scales. Actually, there's a ton of versions of this too, and they have a mini one now. But this is it's a classic knife. It's just a classic knife, and everyone should at least try one out. These are expensive. They start at like $170, which I do think is a little bit too much, but they're great knives. And definitely, I think everyone should at least handle one. Next. This is the Kershaw Bareknuckle. This is... got some hair there. Sorry. This is one of the best knives Kershaw's ever made. This version here, with the aluminum scales, the 14C28N blade, this comes in about $75, $80. It has Kershaw's sub-frame lock, KVT ball bearings, just, wow, snappy as all hell. These are great knives. And if you want to spend just a hair more, and I literally mean just a hair more, you can pay like between $100 and $120 for different dealer exclusives of these guys that have 20 CV. And a 20 CV blade with this kind of build quality and action and handle for around $100, yeah, that's a good deal. So, Kershaw Bareknuckle, just a fantastic knife, pretty inexpensive, good user. This blade shape, I guess you call this a modified drop point. I kind of call this a sheep's foot almost, but just very nice blade. Good action, ergos are excellent, good performance. Yeah, this is a Kershaw Bareknuckle. And let's get through our last two really quick. Let's stay in that $75 to $80 range. The Cold Steel Code 4. This knife, you could put the American Lawman from Cold Steel here, but I prefer the Code 4. This is a fantastic knife. Aluminum scales and S35 VN blade. For under, focus, for under the $80 price point, that's pretty good. That's really good. You have Cold Steel's Triad lock, which is pretty much the strongest lock ever. You can get these knives with a bunch of different blade shapes. I like the clip point. You can also get a tanto and a spear point. And the tanto one, you can also get a serrated version. Ergos are good. This guy is very slim. And this is one of the easiest Cold Steel knives to carry. It comes with an extra clip so you can reverse it. So this is a fully ambi knife, like those benchmades earlier. The action for a back lock is just super good. You saw him right there. No wrist at all. You can just flick this guy open. It's awesome. This is probably one of the greatest Cold Steel knives ever made, and probably one of the greatest EDC knives ever. It's not that heavy, but man, it has all the strength and durability of a regular Cold Steel. That's the Code 4. Just great knife. Great knife. If you don't have a Code 4, you should get one, because they are a great deal. And the last knife on our list. The last knife that I think everyone should experience. What could it possibly be if you haven't guessed already? Yep. It's the Spyderco PM2. This is a classic. Everyone knows the PM2, and for good reason. I mean, this is a great knife. I use my PM2 all the time. I know some people are, think the PM2 is a little bit outdated. I use my PM2 to this day. 4-position pocket clip, compression lock, Spidey hole. Great action. Man, it's a great knife. Very comfortable. Spyderco, they're known for their ergos, and pretty much a timeless knife. This knife will always be useful, no matter if you're an urban EDC person or a hard use person. This knife is for you. And again, not much else to say about it. Alright, well, there's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if I left anything out. I will probably make a part 2 to this list. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. I've been Gideon stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.